Throughout this training, or at any time you need support, there are many ways to contact us. You can follow us on all major social media platforms or email us directly via our website, or you can click the Cancel Connect icon shown at the bottom of this slide on our website to book a consultation with one of our experts.
In the control phase of a project, one of the main objectives is to determine whether your project was successful. But to do this, we have to understand a bit about the time and distance between cause and effect, the learning curve, and definitely the human behavior.
How long from the time that wick is lit until the firecrackers explode? Well, it depends on a few things, doesn't it? How long is the wick? Is it wet? It's the same concept with our projects. When an improvement is implemented, it doesn't always result in immediate, measurable impacts. It depends on a few key factors, such as the complexity of the process, the complexity of the causes, and the solution. The more complicated, the longer it will be before results are seen typically.
And we have to consider human behavior and the learning curve. This falls under the larger topic of change management. But we have to understand that sometimes our results will actually get a little worse initially while people are busy learning the new ways of working. And thirdly, how many other factors are there that will influence the results? Let's say that we have created a great new onboarding program for new salespeople, and our objective or goal is to increase sales. What other factors might influence the sales dollars? Maybe the quality of the new salespeople being hired, the quality of the product or service that we are selling. External market factors, perhaps. These questions will definitely have been thought through when we solidify the problem and goal in the define phase. But here in the control phase, we are focused on understanding when we can expect to see those results.
Let's think through a few quick examples considering the complexity of the solution, human behavior, and the correlation between the solution and the goal. For our first example, let's say that our goal is to decrease blood pressure, and the solution is to increase steps per day to over 8,000 steps. So think about the complexity of walking. That's pretty easy. This shouldn't cause too much delay.
Not always.
What about the human behavior to incorporate it into a routine? We might have to consider time to ramp up to those 8,000 steps. And how about the correlation of the solution, the walking, to the goal, blood pressure?
Our next example is a goal to increase productivity, and the solution is to implement a new software for all processes in multiple locations. This is likely to be a highly complex solution and will require time before productivity is increased. There will likely be a significant learning curve, and productivity may actually decrease initially upon implementation, which is expected. The new system will likely have a great impact on improving productivity, but it is likely that it will take a bit of time.
Our last example is a goal to decrease shipping errors, and the solution implemented was to eliminate a free-form text field in the shipping information form. The complexity of replacing free-form fields with a drop-down list is low, a pretty standard concept actually. Human behavior or learning curve to comply is easy. Very minimal delays should be expected. And the relation of shipping errors to bad shipping info is pretty high, so it's likely that results should be seen pretty quickly on this one.
When considering the learning curve, this is a pretty good illustration of how it really works. Initially, as people learn a new way of working, there will be ups and downs, and they work to replace old skills and practices with new ones. It can be expected that there is a dip as they run into issues, and as they begin to move from understanding the concept to making it a reality. As we said, some of this can be attributed to the complexity of the solution or the change. But we also have to consider what behaviors need to change and how this change fits within the current culture.
Don't underestimate the power of human behavior. If we don't collaborate with those doing the work and truly understand the impact on them, we can expect that they will find ways to work around whatever we've put in place. Workarounds even in the early stages of a new improvement, can give us great insight into the weaknesses of our solution. And if we don't look out for them, the workaround will become the norm, and all that great work we did will be a waste.
In the control phase, there is even more emphasis on change management and the people side of things. It is the final phase of stakeholder management and a great place to gather feedback and pay attention to lessons learned, to examine what worked and what didn't work with our improvement project, and to clarify how problems will be communicated and addressed.
You can't create a truly great new way of working until we've listened closely to those working in the process. Learn their pain points and try to address them as best as you can. Find out what they tell you they need to make the process work most effectively and efficiently. While some of it might be obvious, I promise you they will highlight things that were not even on your radar.
Now that we have considered when we can expect to see results, it's time to display and analyze our results compared to our project goal. We are creating a picture of before and after for our project. So we should use the same data collection plan and the same data display method, so we are comparing apples to apples. In the Analyze phase training module, we covered the analysis of data and verifying statistically meaningful results. We'll draw on the same analysis to determine whether our changes produced a significant change in the results.
So if your baseline data was displayed on a run chart, did your solution result in a special cause, a trend or a shift in the right direction? If you used a histogram or a box plot, did the center, the shape, or the spread change for the better? When validating results, it's important to determine where we expect the improvement to settle. It might keep improving while people are still learning, and the new way is becoming normal.
This topic brings up an interesting question with control charts. As we covered in the Measure and Analyze training modules, the control limits on a control chart are not set like goals or targets, but they are calculated by the data. The control limits provide us the high and low that can be statistically expected in our results. The upper control limit is the expected high and the lower control limit is the expected low.
So if we're displaying our data on a control chart, we have the old process data on the left side and the newer process data on the right of the chart. And if our new process has created a special cause, like a shift or a trend, then our control limits are no longer valid. Because there's a special cause in the data, the results are no longer predictable. So when do we recalculate those limits?
Well, if we see a special cause and that pattern can be explained by our improvement, then we can recalculate, as long as we expect the results or behaviors to continue. If it's just a random special cause and does not appear to be sustainable, then we should not recalculate yet.
When we're confident that the new process results are solid, we can determine the outcome of the project by comparing the results to the goal. The worst case scenario is that the process got worse.
Sometimes happens.
Or there was no improvement or change shown at all. Maybe the process did improve, but it didn't improve enough to reach the goal that we had set. But most often, we'd expect to see that there was a demonstrated improvement and that the goal was met.
So the question becomes, are we satisfied with the results? If no, then we find out what's not working and go back to improve by refining the solution and doing a better job at managing the change. If we are satisfied with the results, we are ready to formalize the comparison of the baseline to the results.
The Validate Results template is used to ensure that we're comparing apples to apples to confirm the results of our improvement. This form has a space at the top to capture the 4 statements associated with the project: the problem, goal, root cause, and solution statements. There's a space to paste a picture of the before and the after results. And the piece in the center is a reminder of those factors that will help you to determine when you should expect to see your improvement.
And with all our material, here's your 1-point lesson on validating your project results. This one-pager highlights the steps, including assessing the time between the solution and the results, collecting and displaying your results data, and then comparing the results data to the goal. Now it's time to review your notes and prepare for a quick quiz on a section, validating results. It has been our sincere pleasure being with you through this part of the training, and we thank you for your dedication to creating a better workplace and an environment that you can truly enjoy.